In our previous section, we have seen the communication between host 1 and host 6 when host 6 was silent. But in our previous example, we have seen that SVIs were present on both leaf 3 and leaf 5, right? So leaf 3 was also having SVI of 10 and 20, and leaf 5 was also having the SVI of 10 and 20. So because on leaf 3 also the SVI was present, so it was using the lowest metric to that prefix or the route type 5, that particular 20.0.0./8. So that is why when the glean adjacency was hit, so it generated an ARP request using the multicast IP, right? So because for bump traffic we were using multicast, and when the ARP reply was sent from host 6, so leaf 5 received that and consumed that, but leaf 5 generated the BGP EVPN update to leaf 3. So leaf 3 received the information about host 6, right, as a route type 2. So the IP and MAC was known to leaf 3. So when the next packet came into leaf 3, now there was no need of multicast because it already knew about the host 6 IP address. So it can now directly encapsulate the traffic to leaf 5 instead of using any multicast, because the multicast was used as a solution for the bump traffic because leaf 3 generated an ARP request. But in this case, now you can see that because leaf 3 is having only VLAN 10 or the host in VLAN 10, there is no host in VLAN 20, there is no configuration related to VLAN 20 or VNI 20 on leaf 3. Likewise, you can see on leaf 5, we do have only the Anycast gateway configured for SVI or VLAN 20, which is 20.1.1.254. The VLAN 20, VNI 20, 2020, layer 3 VNI is same on both sides because they're part of same VRF customer A. So now you can see the, because host 1 is not silent, so as soon as it came into the network, so it generated the GARP message. So leaf 3 will generate the BGP EVPN update as a route type 2, and now you can see that using that BGP VPN update, leaf 5 is going to update its database. You can see on the right hand side that leaf 5 is having the information about 10.1.3 and its MAC address. It knows about what is the VNI information, what is the L3 VNI which is configured, and the next hop IP, everything, the router MAC, right? The router MAC is ABC. Also, you can see it has the subnet information 10.0.0.0/8, the L3 VNI against that, and the router MAC 3.3.3.3, right? This particular entry generated using the route type 5. It also knows about the 20 subnet because it is having this particular subnet configured on it. So you can see the next hop is leaf 5 itself and the L3 VNI. On the left hand side, you can see that because the GARP was generated from host 1, so leaf 3 already knows that, okay, host 1 IP is 10.1.1.3, the MAC address is 1111, the L2 VNI, L3 VNI next hop, because it is leaf 3 itself, it knows that lies behind Ethernet 1 slash what is that 1/3, so it knows everything about host 1, right? Then for 10 subnet 10.0.0.0/8, it has the L3 VNI, and this particular subnet is configured on leaf 3 itself, so next up is 3.3.3, right? And the 20 subnet is received via the route type 5 into BGP VPN update from leaf 5. So the L3 VNI is against this particular prefix subnet is 12345, which is for VRF customer A. The next hop will be 5.5.5 because this particular BGP VPN update was shared by leaf 5 and the router MAC of leaf 5, which is DEF, right? So now let's try to see how the communication is going to take place. So host 1 is going to communicate with host 6. Host 1 does not know about host 6, so it is going to generate the ARP request. So source IP 10.1.1.3. So let me write it down. So 10.1.1.3, destination IP 20.1.1.5, source MAC 1111, destination MAC it does not know, right? So because the communication is into different subnets, so the ARP request that host 1 is going to generate, it will generate for the gateway, right? It cannot generate, it is not going to generate it for the directly for the end host because the communication is into the different subnets. So first it is going to find out what is the MAC address against the default gateway address that I'm configured with, right? So the default gateway configured on host 1 is 10.1.1.254. So this particular ARP request will be generated. It will be sent to leaf 3. Leaf 3 is going to reply something like that. So the source IP will be this. Destination IP will be 10.1.1.3. So the source IP is the Anycast gateway IP. Destination IP is the host 1 IP. Source MAC will be the Anycast gateway MAC, which is AAA that we also took in our previous examples. And the destination MAC will be 111, right? So using this ARP request, so using this ARP request, now host 1 knows about the gateway MAC, correct? So now host 1 can generate the ICMP traffic. So it will generate something like that. Source is 10.1.1.3, destination 20.1.1.5, source MAC 111, destination MAC will be gateway MAC, which is AAA, right? So this particular information will be sent to who? It will be sent to leaf 3. So leaf 3, once receive this particular information, it is going to check this particular IP 20.1.1.1.5 into the VRF customer A, but now you can see the database of leaf 3. There is no information related to 20.1.1.5, but it has one subnet 20.0.0.0/8, which is going to hit now. And now it knows that this particular subnet is catered by leaf 5 because it already received this particular information as a route type 5 from leaf 5 into the BGP EVPN update. So this particular payload that it received 10.1.1.3, so this you can see that this particular ICMP traffic, right, from host 1 to host 6, right? Now it is going to encapsulate this particular payload. So the inner source MAC will be the router because this is the uh, communication in between the different subnets, right? So always during the data path communication, the inner source MAC will be the RMAC of the source leaf. So in our case, the source leaf or the MAC address or the router MAC of leaf 3 is ABC. So the inner source MAC will be ABC. The destination, inner destination MAC, it already knows, right? Because it received into the BGP EVPN update along with the route type 520.0.0/8 that the router MAC of 5.5.5 is DEF. So it is going to put DEF as a inner destination MAC address. So the VXLAN traffic, so it is going to use the L3 VNI, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You can see here it only knows for this particular subnet, it only knows about the L3 VNI, right? Because there is no L2 VNI, it does not have any information about VLAN 20. So a VXLAN is going to carry the L3 VNI. Again, we have the UDP header, source port random, destination port 4789 for VXLAN. In the outer source IP will be the source VTAP address 3.3.3, destination IP 5.5.5, which is leaf 5. Outer MAC headers, it will be same. The normal layer 3 device logic. The exit interface MAC is 3131. And the next hop MAC is the MAC address of interface Ethernet 1 by 1 of spine 1, which is connected to leaf 3. So the MAC is 0011, 0011. So this particular packet, leaf 3 is going to generate and it will send it to spine. So now spine is going to modify the outer source MAC and destination MAC, right? Again, the normal layer 3 device logic. So the outer source MAC will be 0013, right? 0013, and the destination MAC will be the next hop MAC, which is 5151. So 5151, which is the MAC address of interface Ethernet 1 by 1 of leaf 5. Now you can see that leaf 5 is going to receive this particular information, right? So it is going to remove the VXLAN related information. Now you can see that into the VXLAN, it has the L3 VNI, so it is going to check the VRF table. But you can see that into the database of leaf 5, there is no information about 20.1.1.5, right? Now again, because it has the 20.0.0.0/8 entry, right? So now the clean adjacency is going to be hit at leaf 5, and now leaf 5 is going to generate an ARP request, okay? Something like this. So the source IP will be 20.1.1.254. Destination IP will be 20. So the destination IP will be 20.1.1.5. The source MAC will be the Anycast MAC address, which is AAA. The destination MAC, it is trying to find out, right? So this particular ARP request will be generated by leaf 5 because the glean adjacency was hit. There was no information about this endpoint into its database. So host 6 is going to receive this particular information or ARP request. So now with this ARP request, you again the host 6, it will get to know what is the MAC address against my gateway. So now it is going to save this particular information into its ARP table, like the MAC address AAA against its gateway IP, right? So it is going to send an ARP reply, something like this. So the source IP will be 20.1.1.5. Destination IP is 254, 20.1.1.254. Destination IP, the source MAC is 6666. The destination MAC is the Anycast MAC that it received into the ARP request, which is AAA. So this particular ARP reply will be generated by host 6, and it is going to send it to leaf 5. So leaf 5 will receive this particular ARP reply. Now it is going to populate its table, something like this. So it received information about 20.1.1.5 and its MAC address, right? It knows what is the L2 VNI information, it knows what is the L3 VNI information, and the next hop is leaf 5 itself. It received this particular information on Ethernet 1/4. So leaf 5 received this information, and as we know, what leaf 5 is now going to do. Leaf 5 received some information from the front panel ports. So now its job is to generate a BGP EVPN update as a route type 2, so that other devices in the network, they can update their database with the information it just received, right? So leaf 5 is going to generate a route type 2 BGP EVPN update, and so with that particular update, now leaf 3 is going to update its database like 20.5 and 666. They are having this particular L2 VNI, they have the L3 VNI 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this particular information is received from leaf 5, right? And the RMAC, a second, the RMAC is DEF. So now you can see that the table of, or the database of leaf 3 is updated. Okay. So this is how these host 1 and host 6, they are going to communicate. Okay. So when we talk about this route type 5 advertisement, there is very simple redistribution configuration that we have to do on leaf 3 and leaf 5, and they are going to generate, or they are going to redistribute this particular information to each other using the route type 5. We'll discuss that in some another video, but I hope that now it is very much clear what is the importance of route type 5, and in case there are silent hosts in our network, then what is the what is the process to find out the details of those silent hosts and how the communication takes place. So I hope now the inter-subnet communication is clear to everyone, and see you in some another video. Thanks for watching.